Welcome back, Bears fans. My name is Quentin Crisco, and we are here to talk about the Bears' rookie defensive tackle, Gervon Dexter Sr. First of all, you can find me on Twitter at BuckissStats and podcasting for the Shaving Points podcast, where we talk NFL and gambling and college football, just everything football, and the Bears on Tap podcast, and also writing for OnTapSportsNet.com. If you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, or comment. With that being said, let's get to football. The first thing I want to point out with Gervon Dexter is his raw strength, because that's the baseline trait he uses to win in both the pass rush and run defense reps. Right here, you'll see how he holds up the down blocker, plants his feet to stalemate the blocker's attempt to displace him, and makes the tackle in his run lane. Now this one might be my favorite rep from him through the first 5 games. Going against Cody Mock, Dexter shows an extreme power advantage by tossing the 300-pound guard aside to make the play. The violent movement in this rep is really what gets me excited. So now that we have looked at the strength, we can tell this is a powerful young man with just a natural degree of violence to his game. It's an ideal trait along the offensive line. It's an ideal trait along the defensive line, that natural violence. It's not something you can really teach. And with strength being his go-to trait, the bull rush is what we're going to look at next. On this first rep against Green Bay, we're not actually looking at a bull rush. Again, it's a run rep, but stay with me. It's all going to tie together soon. I want you to watch Dexter's left hand as he takes on the blocker, and watch how the blocker's body language changes. From this view, it looks like Dexter throws an uppercut punch right into the gut of the Green Bay tackle, creating just enough hesitation to release from the block. This is going to be a theme with Dexter's bull rush move. I told you we'd get to pass rush. Now we're going to start looking at some of them. On this rep against the Chiefs, watch Dexter's right hand swing upwards into the Chiefs' right guard's midsection. The way the right guard's body moves, it sure looks like he just took a blow to the gut. Dexter continues forward off that momentary lapse from the guard, replicating his hands and pushing straight back into the pocket. While you would like to see him finish with a sack here, that's still a quality pressure in my book. On this rep from week 5, the blocker struggles to square up and root his feet in time. The Washington center is a tick late with his feet here, allowing Dexter to find a soft edge and use his strength to win despite playing too tall. This next one is also from that Washington game, and we see Dexter land what looks like a punch with his left hand on contact, start to get stuck, then wind up another uppercut with his right hand. But he's out-leveraged by the blocker, who used good footwork to square up, root his feet, and absorb the contact. This is another rep where better leverage could have won the rep for Dexter. An example of that can be seen on this final rep against Washington. On this one, Dexter did not need any punches because he keeps his pads low with better knee bend and a good forward lean. An okay forward lean, that's kind of where it gets choppy. It looks a little bit awkward, but it's growth from a leverage standpoint and highlights what Dexter can be as a bull rusher when he plays with a lower pad level. Now, I want to break down a move that Dexter has been working on that I'm calling a cross chop. It's still in its infancy, but you can see him working on it and how it's improving as the season continues. This thing is kind of like Drake though. It started from the bottom. So we will look at it from its earliest stages and see how it has progressed week to week. This first rep against Green Bay, just make note of this lateral jump. This is as basic as it gets. It's really just him moving side to side, but it's what Dexter tries to add to as the season continues. On this next rep against Tampa, it was the first time he actually tried to do a cross chop in an NFL game. His hands are a little wild, missing the mark, and he just doesn't really move the blocker and doesn't find the open space. Does a decent job of selling the outside, size and position considered. Don't expect this to end up looking like an edge rusher though, because we are talking about a 300+ pound human. Dexter went on to try this move on 4 straight pass rush reps in this game, so we're just going to take a look at all of them. This time, Dexter tries it to his left. He does not do much to sell the dive inside, which really kills his ability to gain the corner on the blocker. If I were to make an assumption, I would say that the goal is to make this his go-to move to the left, because after watching every rep of him, I'm not sure I've seen him win to his left convincingly yet. And the main move he tries moving to his left so far has been this cross chop. On this next one, we see him pulling this move to his right again. But we don't see him sell the inside move hard enough this time. Maybe that's just something to expect from a 300 plus pound defensive tackle, but despite that lack of selling the inside, he's still able to pry himself around the blocker's outside shoulder and into the backfield. Not necessarily a pressure, but it's growth compared to the last rep we saw. Also, on this rep, note how number 91, Yannick Ngakoue, throws a very similar cross chop on the Buccaneers' right tackle. Robert Schmidt actually pointed this out to me, and after seeing it, I would wager that Dexter's working and learning from Ngakoue on this move. Here, we're going to see another instance where Dexter does not sell hard inside, but he's still able to hit the corner with his quickness and affect the passing lane. Now, against Denver, we see the right guard almost sitting on this move. He seems ready for it, despite it seeming like Dexter sold the inside move a little bit better than the last few reps we saw. While Dexter's able to get some depth to his rush, he ends up on the ground, and you need to counter that when the guard's expecting it. That's something we're going to talk about a little bit later. On this one against Washington, I feel like Dexter does a lot better job timing up his hands with the lateral movement of this cross chop. It seems much more fluid and just in motion. Also, his outside fake seems a little bit smoother, even if it is still small. He gets eaten up by the double team here, but that does create one-on-ones for his teammates and gives Zach Pickens a chance to bull rush into the backfield. Now, that cross chop is nice on occasion, especially as a changeup, but it does not highlight Dexter's best trait, which is strength. While the bull rush feeds into that best trait, it'd be nice to have another move that works with those abilities. And I think this shoulder punch move we're about to talk about is just an abridged version of the cross chop that we just talked about. It's a similar principle of getting to the blocker's soft edge before they can square up their feet to match him, but it's executed differently. It's executed with force rather than with quickness. We didn't see this move until the Kansas City game, and this first rep that we see is the first instance of it. Watch how Dexter just throws right jabs at the shoulder of the Chiefs guard to move him to the left and take advantage of the opening on the right. It seems like Dexter built off this rep to execute this on initial contact better as in later games, but this was the first instance I found. This next one, although it's less effective, shows how he's trying to evolve the concept. It's almost like a two-hand swipe here, but the intent is still, I'm stronger than you and I can move you laterally to open space. On this third one, we see him execute it with only his right hand, so it's not the two-hand swipe that we just saw. But look at how he just jabs at the guard's right shoulder to open up space before flying through it. I think the two-hand swipe that we saw on the previous rep could be something to watch for in the coming weeks and something that he's trying to build into his acumen, but for now, the one hand is the one that's really seeming to work. Now, let's take a look at how Dexter started to use these moves together in combination. Because an ability to develop pass rush moves is the first step, but the ability to stack them on top of each other as counters is the next step. On this first rep, you can see him attempt the cross chop to the guard's outside shoulder, but the guard's ready for it and uses his length to slow it down before it starts. Instead of getting stuck on this rep like we've seen in some previous ones, you see Dexter just dive into a bull rush, throwing uppercuts with his left hand as he pushes. The center comes over and shuts down the rep, but that allows the left side to break free and push Mahomes out of the pocket. On this next rep, we see Dexter try the cross chop to the right again, but the guard's ready for it. He's sitting on it, as we've seen a few times now. So Dexter seamlessly throws a left uppercut into the guard's gut and bowls him back before Mahomes breaks the pocket. Here, we see Dexter open the rep with his shoulder punch move, but his feet are stuck in mud. Can't capitalize on the space. I don't know if he's gassed or what here, but he actually throws a swim move on the blocker to break free, which is something we hadn't seen from him to this point. So that's a nice chain after, his feet were too slow to take advantage of his move. I really like the decisiveness we see from Dexter here on this next one. He tries to cross chop to his left, but as soon as he sees the guard sitting on it, he triggers into a bull rush, which catches the guard off balance. This might be one of the most impressive pass rush reps I've seen from Dexter because of how quickly he triggers from the chop into the bull rush. And it gives the guard very little time to react, get his feet right, and plant and handle Dexter's strength. Overall, there's still a long way to go as a pass rusher, but Dexter's shown quite a bit of growth in his first 5 weeks. And that's a great sign for a young, raw football player with impressive athletic tools. I believe it means that he's taken coaching, he's shown an ability to transfer out of game practice into on-the-field production. Given his strength, athletic profile, and that development that we've seen through the first 5 games, Dexter's a player I'm excited about going into the future. And that is all I have for you guys. You can find me on Twitter at BuckHisStats, podcasting for the Shaving Points podcast and the Bears on Tap podcast, and writing for OnTapSportsNet.com. And if you like this video, please help me out with a like, a subscription, a comment, whatever you can do. I greatly appreciate it. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and bear down.